topic. Now, when you say the secret is in the heart, that has many levels of truth. Okay? So we'll just touch on a few things. Number one, psychologically or emotionally, you already know, the center of your chest, there's an energy center called the heart chakra. So this heart chakra is the chakra of love, mercy, compassion, happiness. Most of you know that already. It's the chakra of unconditional love. Now, let me clarify what unconditional love means. If you touch the center of your chest, this is the origination point. If you will, it's like a flower coming out like this, blooming. That's the heart chakra. Okay? Now, right below it, if you touch your heart center, the center of your chest, go down to the soft spot below, feel that area that dips in between your ribs, that's the solar plexus center. Now, the solar plexus center is also a chakra of love. The difference is, the heart chakra is love for others, the solar plexus is love for oneself. Okay? So you have this constant dual between the two. You have the heart chakra, love for others, the solar plexus, love for oneself. You know, you heard the saying, oh, this person is so loving, they'll give you the shirt on their back if you need it, right? So that's when the heart chakra is very, very big, and they'll give you the shirt on their back. If the solar plexus is much bigger, the love for oneself is much bigger than the love for others, you take somebody else's shirt. You see what I'm saying? So heart, solar plexus. Now, here's the interesting part. This is one of the secrets. You see, when you're all stressed out, the solar plexus is blocked. In other words, instead of being freely flowing, it gets clogged with negative emotion. Then, you notice that sometimes when you start doing meditation, or you start feeling a lot of love towards someone, you have this sensation, you go like this. Notice that? Or somebody's doing healing on you. You know, it's like stress, and suddenly you go, your shoulders drop. But one thing before that even happens, you notice your diaphragm drops. Like, you know why? The solar plexus chakra controls the diaphragm. When you're stressed out, it's spinning irregularly. So the prana, the energy coming in and out, it's not stable. Okay? Now, when the heart chakra is very, very activated, since the one is the higher emotional chakra, one is the lower emotional chakra, there's a certain interesting triggering mechanism. That's one of the secrets. In other words, instead of saying, I don't want to have stress, I don't want to be angry, if you simply stimulate the heart center, feeling love, having compassion towards others, or just simply thinking of someone you really care about and dwelling on those feelings, guess what happens? As this gets stimulated, it triggers the solar plexus to start releasing. So that's the first secret. A lot of people don't realize that. They say, oh, hey, how come, I was taught to tap my thymus gland. Remember that? Some of you who are studying with other traditions say, tap your thymus gland so you have more inner peace, activate your immune system, and so on and so on. Because when you tap your thymus gland, which is in this area, it activates the heart. When it activates the heart, it triggers the solar plexus to go, release. Then how do you feel? All right? That's one part. Another part. You see, a lot of people, they don't realize that, when they have a relationship that didn't work out, they have heartache. Remember that before? Heartache. The interesting part is, a heartache has absolutely nothing to do with your heart chakra. You see, the heart chakra loves someone regardless of any feedback that you get. In other words, I love you, period. It's not like I love you, just like in geometry. Remember in geometry, this angle is congruent to this angle if and only if, and you have certain conditions. The heart chakra says, I love you. That's that, period. Whether you love me or not, you return that favor, you show love, doesn't matter. I love you, period. It's unconditional. The solar plexus is the second part that says, I love you if you love me back, you pay for my bills, you take out the trash, you do all these things for me, then I love you. That's the solar plexus, because you have the love for others and the love for oneself. A lot of people, without this distinction, don't realize the two are constantly working together. So, when you truly care about someone, you heard the saying, if you really love someone, you let them go. Or if you truly love someone, you want what's best for them, regardless of what happens to you. That's these two working. You really care for someone. The heart is so active, the solar plexus takes a back seat. That's why, if you notice when you're angry with someone, or let's say somebody doesn't treat you right, when you cross your arms and compress on the solar plexus area, you notice those feelings of wanting to have that reciprocation of love shuts down. It's just like, how come this person is not reciprocating my love, it's not reciprocating respect towards me. You don't care. You know why? The love for oneself is temporarily, keyword is temporarily muted. Okay? Of course, that's not a solution, because you do that enough times, at some point it builds up, it explodes. So the key is this, to really put this thing together. The first part is understanding. When I love this person, like you like an infant, right? You have an infant, you have a baby. You love the baby regardless of how much it poops, it pees, right? The diaper is getting dirty, you don't care, because the love is unconditional. Clear? All right, next one. Prosperity. You know, in the book, Spiritual Essence of Man and the Chakras, I'm not going to show you that, it takes too much time. One of the things Master is saying that the heart center is a chakra of prosperity. All right? We know the basic, the one, the tailbone, is also chakra of prosperity, but these two are connected. Let's start with this one. So the heart chakra is the chakra of prosperity because it's the chakra of generosity, caringness, compassion. Right? Now, let me introduce something for the people who are new. A lot of you who have studied the chakras always associate the heart chakra as being green. Remember? You start from the bottom like a rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, right? Green. In reality, if you have a good clairvoyant look, there's absolutely no green energy inside the heart. In fact, the heart chakra only has two main colors. Okay, this is from the Achieving Oneness book. If you look at the heart chakra, it's red and gold. This one, what I'm pointing, red and gold. All right. Now, why red and gold? I don't know. I was not the engineer, but anyway. But you can see by the effects of it. For example, press the center of your palms. Put your hand like this. Now, just feel from far out here. Just say the energy of my heart center. Try it. All right. Okay. Once you feel even a sort of a something, now close your eyes. Imagine someone you love very, very dearly in front of you. Could be your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, your children, your parents, someone you love very clearly, very, very dearly. It could be even your dog, your cat, anyone. All right? Smile. Recall a happy event you've had with that person. Relive it in your mind. Re-experience the sights, the sounds, especially the feelings. All right? Stay there, stay there. What do you feel with your palms? Most of you will notice it's gently pushing your hands out. And if you're sensitive, you notice there's a gentle warmth, right? Okay, put your hand down, open your eyes. So, you see, when you love someone, when you care about them, the heart center starts expanding. When you say expanding, that means it's drawing a lot of energy, its energy is going out, it's pumping. So when that pumps, since this chakra, it's like a propeller. You know, like a fan has blades. Each of the blades and the chakra itself is made of energy. So when it starts having lots of energy coming in and out, these blades, since it's not physical, start to have more and more energy. It starts expanding in width and it starts becoming longer. So if you're scanning your heart, the heart chakra expands. Now, since the color is reddish, you feel the warmth. That's why when you truly care for someone, when you're around them, they feel a loving, warm sensation. Here in the United States, you call it warm and fuzzy feeling. Because the heart chakra, the red energy is expanding, expanding, and that red gently turns into pink and embraces someone you love. Okay? That's why some people, they say, honey, I love you. You go, no, you don't. Why not? Well, I don't feel that warm, fuzzy feeling. Because if you're not sincere, the heart chakra doesn't expand to radiate that energy. All right? Next. Now, you heard of people say, wow, that person is so loving, he or she is so generous. That person has a heart of gold. You notice that? Because when a person's heart is so activated, and so the love is so unconditional, caring very little about oneself and caring a lot about that person at that particular time, the heart chakra spins so much it turns golden. That's why in this image here, you notice the heart chakra is red core, has a red core, and golden petals on the outside. Okay? Now, that said, so when a person's very loving, very generous, that heart chakra allows that person to generate a lot of good karma. You already know most of it. Whatever you sow, you reap, right? So St. Francis says, it is in giving that you receive. So this karma is like a, how do you call it, spiritual boomerang, if you like. Okay? Now, a lot of people say, I don't believe in it. Well, what you and I don't believe or don't believe doesn't change facts. You know, you don't believe in gravity, you jump off a building, well, you'll find out that gravity exists regardless of your opinion. I know that sounds harsh, but some people, they think, oh, I don't believe in that crap. Well, suit yourself. By not believing, understanding, you cannot harness. If you understand it, you can harness it, and from harnessing it, you can use it to your advantage. So, essentially, this heart chakra is the chakra of love, generosity, and as you're very generous in your love, in your ideas, in giving resources, the boomerang effect comes back. Guess what? It manifests as prosperity or abundance. That's why the heart chakra is the chakra of abundance and prosperity. Some people, they work very, very hard to be prosperous, right? Sheer hard work, basic chakra. It does work. And I remember one time I was talking to Master Cho in the car. I said, Master, what is a way to become more prosperous? He says there are many ways to prosperity. One of the ways to do it, and probably one of the easiest ones, is through the heart chakra. By being generous, guess what happens? You plant good seeds. These seeds will grow. There's a multiplying effect. It comes back to you. So let's make it simple. A lot of people says, oh, nobody loves me, nobody likes me. When was the last time you projected love and kindness and took the time to help other people? If you don't plant any seeds of love, you're not entitled to harvest them. In fact, there's something even more ridiculous. Some of us, a lot of us went through this without thinking about it. There's someone you want them to love you. Okay? But because of maybe a past history with that person, you keep projecting negative thoughts at this person. You go, oh, this jerk, I do everything for him or for her. I can't believe they don't even show love and compassion. They don't show some appreciation. They don't appreciate what I do for them. All right, you say, well, that's understandable, but look at it this way. Think of it as far as energy is concerned. You're expecting them to share loving energy towards you, right? Oh, you want them to be lovey-dovey, to be caring, and all these things. But when you talk to them, you don't say things kindly, you always scream and yell. Or your thoughts are always like, yeah, that's good for nothing, blah, blah, blah. You project negative thoughts. So it's just like you're planting orange seeds and you're expecting apple tree to suddenly show up. It doesn't make sense. You expect that by dumping all this negative energy towards that person, suddenly that person would love you more. Defies logic, doesn't it? It's interesting that that's what Master Cho is explaining. A lot of people don't realize that we plant in the inner world with our thoughts and emotions. We don't realize that as you plant these thoughts in the inner world, these negative thoughts, you're harvesting that in the physical world with the way they treat you. So if you want to change the fruits, you change the seed. Some of you said, it's obvious. Yeah, the question is how many of us are doing it? It takes a certain level of awareness. Awareness means the ability to catch ourselves. Oh, wait. I'm thinking negative thoughts about this person. Okay, instead of that, I'm going to plant good seeds. I project love, kindness. They've hurt me before, but hey, who doesn't make mistakes? Everybody does. I had my share of screw-ups, so I forgive you. Let the past be the past. I project love, kindness, and joy and happiness to you. So every time a negative thought is about to come to you about this person, it's not justified, it's not needed, you just like to criticize, you just stop. Okay. I control my thoughts and my emotions. I project love and kindness to this person. It works. As you keep changing the seeds, you change the fruits. That's that. All right? Now, this is just a short lecture, so we can't really go too much into it. But I think if you go to the essence of it, you get the idea. It's just a matter of changing one small thing to get big results. Okay? Now, the next part of the secrets, actually it's not just one secret, the secrets of the heart has to do with karma. We touched on it a little bit already. Remember, whatever seed you plant, you harvest. Now, inside the center of your chest, in your heart chakra, this is in many of the messages books. I'll just go to it very quickly. You have certain recorders, to record your voice, record your video, and so on and so on. We have things to record it, like a tape recorder, or who has a tape recorder anymore? Your computer, your cell phone. You have a camera to record video, right? Okay. In the center of your chest, I showed you that it's called a physical permanent seed. That's one of the deeper secrets. In other words, this is like a hard drive, if you will, that is read and write. Like when you have a computer, you can open a file, you read the contents, yes? And then, if you want to change some of the data, you can save it. Just imagine every physical action that we have, how we treat people, right? The good deeds, the not so good deeds, the crazy things we do, the good things we do, everything, it's actually recorded. The question is, who wears that hard drive? That hard drive is in that particle. If this is your heart chakra, it's inside, it's like a little red dot. You have these laser pointers, this little red dot. Just imagine, if you could see it, it looks almost like that inside your chest. It's smaller than a grain of rice, yet it packs massive amounts of data. Now, I can go through it again in much detail. It'll take at least an hour. But if you take the classes or you read the book, the physical permanency, it spells it out. But let me just give you a little bit of a summary. Essentially, before the soul comes into the world, who decides how healthy your body is when you're born, when your body's born? Who decides, are you going to be born in a very prosperous family in Beverly Hills, or in a very poor village in the middle of somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Africa? You get my point? It's like God did not roll the dice. Says, let me try. Whoop, too bad for you. Oh, lucky you. There must be some selection process. So in the deeper spiritual practices, spiritual teachings, it talks about the choices the soul makes. Other schools call it soul contracts. Anyway, the term is not important. The essence is a soul makes a choice based on data from the past. Okay, so we have to start somewhere. Chicken or egg? Let's just assume that the soul is going to come into the world, and that data is recorded in a little red light, a little hard drive, and that hard drive opens up our past. So the soul, based on this information, after consulting a great spiritual being, archangel, even higher, makes certain decisions on what spiritual debts it wants to pay off and what spiritual profits it wants to enjoy. Okay? Well, again, I apologize, but we're oversimplifying this. So based on that information, it is determined by us, the soul, the spiritual self, how healthy, how happy. It's like a starting point. Okay, now, some of you are saying, well, if that's the case, there is no free will then. Everything's decided. Hold on. So the spiritual self makes certain choices. It says, okay, in this lifetime of this many years, I plan to pay off this spiritual debt. I beat up someone before, might have some bad health the first few years, but I see that in that time, I will meet certain spiritual people, spiritual teachers. I will learn loving kindness. And because of that, I learn to be a doctor. I learn to be a healer, so on and so on. I pay off that spiritual debt. So it has a certain plan. You and I have a spiritual plan. Okay? So, when the egg gets fertilized, that little red hard drive, the one we're talking about, comes down into the womb of our mothers. And from there, the data is what angelic beings use to fabricate the chakras in the physical body, and so on and so on. All right? Again, I'm oversimplifying. Here's the interesting part of all. As we're in the physical body moving around, we make choices. Every choice that we make, good or bad, is recorded. It's like there's a running balance sheet, a running profit and loss statement, if you will, of the soul inside that little seed. And in there, guess what? If you have a debt and you do something good, you save somebody's life, it changes it. You do something dumb, you hurt someone, it changes. So at any given time, it's moving. So I'll share with you a very, very quick story. We share this in Advanced Pranic Healing and our Heart Yoga. This is a story message I always uses. In the Philippines, there's this fantastic psychic or clairvoyant. According to the story, he has the ability to tell anyone the exact date they're going to die, or in essence, the soul leaving the body. So he told this person, said, look, I see you dead in 30 days. Why don't you go back to your hometown, take care of your land, your belongings, your possessions, your finances, so your children will be taken care of, because in 30 days, you're gone. Well, this person, knowing the track record of the clairvoyant, says, hey, we'll take care of that. Anyway, make a long story short, after 30 days, this guy still alive. And somehow, I don't know the details of the story, but the clairvoyant and him met again. And they were talking. The clairvoyant was shocked. It's like, hey, you're still alive. You're supposed to be dead. So during the discussion, some things came up. And the funny part is the person says, did what you told me. But a few things did happen. He said on his way to his hometown in the provinces, it's like a middle of nowhere. No cities, no anything. It's a stretch of empty land. There was a car accident, and he was the only one that was there. In other words, he came upon it. And there was no ambulance, no anything. So he knew if he didn't do anything, there's a high probability that person would die. So according to the story, he either took him to a hospital or called the ambulance. This part I'm not too sure, but in other words, he saved his life. The clairvoyant said, when you did that, you changed or you moved your death date. Okay? Then I was talking to one of my colleagues. He said, there's a second part of the story. Since this person thought his body's going to be dead anyway, he's going to leave in 30 days. After he took care of his family, he had a lot of excess things. He gave it all to the poor. He said, I have no use for it. My family is happy. Gave it to the poor. So the clairvoyant said, when you did that second thing, a major thing, you move your death date again. Now, let's analyze this. So essentially, every soul has a certain specific death date. Or, instead of saying death date, we'll just call it departure date. Like you buy an airplane ticket, there's a scheduled departure time, right? Okay. So that departure time is embedded in that red seed, that red light. So here's what happens. As we make choices every single day, we are constantly changing that data. Any acts of kindness, you save somebody's life, so on, so on, so on. Any spiritual debt that is either paid or acts of kindness to actually go over and beyond helping someone, you are altering that data on a big scale. When someone murders someone, you see, you know why murder is such a big sin or big mistake? Because every soul wants to advance in a certain incarnation or lifetime, right? When murder is done or suicide is done, guess what happens? You put that plan of learning lessons and spiritual evolving to a screeching halt. That's why it's a sin against the soul. So it's a big minus, big negative on that seed. Okay? Now, when you save someone's life, it's a big positive. It's literally mathematics. So even the soul has certain spiritual mathematics. Now, I hope you guys are okay with this. After all, the title of this is The Secrets in the Heart. And in this case, it's literally inside the heart, energetically, of course. That said, let's put everything together. Why do we do what we do? Many things. Because we're good people. We try to be good people. We try to return to God. We want to experience the essence of God within us. God is love. God cares for people. And all the stuff you hear in every religion. Right? Okay. Now, to put it all together for you, it's quite interesting. If you look at this image, this is the heart chakra. Inside that heart chakra is that little hard drive, right? Okay. On this side, that is the crown chakra. If you look at the center of the crown chakra, okay, if you zoom in, which I can do it on this camera, the inside is actually a duplicate of this. Actually, in reality, this is the duplicate of that thing inside in the middle. Heart chakra, crown chakra. There lies the secret. So, the heart chakra is chakra of love. But what people don't realize is the chakra of love of the heart, the range of that love is usually to people we know or people we associate with. So it's the way Master Cho called it is called personal love. You love your children, your family, your cousins, and so on and so on. But the crown chakra is the chakra of impersonal love. Impersonal means you love someone regardless of you ever interact with them or not. Like someone is hurt across the world in a war, or starving in some city, or going through some calamity like an earthquake or a flood. The heart chakra, yeah, you feel kind of sad about it. The crown chakra says, wow, they're suffering. Let me do something. Let me give some money to charity. Let me do this. Let me do that. That's the crown chakra. So to simplify, this is human personal love. This is universal spiritual love. They're both love. One loves on a certain scale. One loves on a grander scale. There lies the secret of spiritual illumination. In order to trigger this guy, to allow spiritual energy to come down, to experience that oneness with God and oneness with all, the key is the one here. Without activating the heart, the crown center cannot be fully and substantially activated. In other words, you can chant mantras and all these things, you experience stillness and all that. Once that energy is consumed by the crown, the chakra becomes smaller again. You might have a little remnant of it, like, okay, I'm more still, I'm more quiet. But for long-term effect, if you want to keep the crown highly activated to experience that downpouring of spiritual energy, you have to first trigger this one. By showing love, mercy, and compassion to others, you keep this one highly activated to have that constant, the key word is constant, spiritual connection with awareness. That said, so if you put the whole thing together, when you do meditation, like what we're going to do, meditation twin hearts, love, compassion towards the entire earth. When we do healing, when you give money to charity, when you help someone in need, you're triggering the heart, right? Now, watch. You trigger the heart, you trigger the crown, the divine energy comes down, right? When you're doing acts of compassion and love, that energy goes out towards these people, or the animals, or nature. So the pathway, the key word is pathway. The pathway that energy flows through. Okay? The pathway that energy flows through passes through that hard drive, or that recorder, if you will. So as that energy keeps passing through it, and because what we're trying to do is acts of love, mercy, and compassion, guess what you're doing? You're constantly changing the data. Changing the data, changing the data, changing the data. Let's translate the word. Changing your karma. Remember, we came in with a certain balance sheet, right? Balance sheet. Maybe more karma credits, less negative karma, whatever. You have a certain proportion. But as we make certain changes in our life, make certain decisions, we are changing that data, that proportion. So when you use your heart and your crown, especially your heart doing lots of service, you trigger the crown. When that's triggered, you cannot help but try to be a good person. And when you're a good person, it's very difficult to watch somebody suffer without doing anything. And it is that doing anything, that's something, that's what you call service. And that service causes you to do certain things, think a certain way, feel a certain way. And the result of that is somebody benefits more than yourself. And that changes the proportion and the data in that seed. So you're literally changing your karma. That is the deeper secret. So, I remember I was talking to Master Cho about pranic healing. He said, I did not come up with these classes for the sake of classes. I didn't come up with teachings for the sake of teachings. I asked the question, what does humanity need? Does humanity need physical healing because of physical ailments and everything? Yeah, that's why he came up with pranic healing. Do people have psychological, emotional issues? Yes, that's why he came up with pranic psychotherapy. Do people need relationship healing? Yeah, that's why we have meditation twin hearts. We have healing each other for, stress, anger, and so on and so on to improve relationship? Do people need spiritual connection, a sense of belongingness, a feeling of connecting to the universe? Yeah, that's why you have meditation between the hearts and the higher meditations, arhatic yoga. Do people need prosperity? Yeah, that's why he has Kriya Shakti, pranic feng shui, and so on and so on and so on. In other words, he looked at it, what is the need and how can we service these people who have these needs? It's by using these ancient teachings, putting them in a certain order, a certain structure that is almost like a cookbook, so anyone can utilize these teachings to improve their lives. But the core of it is love and compassion. That's it. So I hope that in this short 37 minutes, that you've been at least able to get a better sense that love is not just, that kind of love. Love actually has to have arms and legs. Love has to be something that can make a difference in people's lives. Not just, I love you, yeah, sure, yeah, I love you, I like to hug you, and that's not finished. There has to be something that extends further than that. It's called service.